We're going where you want to go so you can be where you need to be. It's Road Gang Radio with Lindsay, Lawler, and Jimmy Mack on RadioNemo.com.
Right now, Lindsay looks very, very comfortable, complimented by that microphone. You look very 1950s, sort of hipsterish, radio sort of personality over there. Well done.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, here's the planning that went into it. Which thing on my floor can I grab quickest?
Yeah. Sometimes you say to yourself, that sounds pretty right. And sometimes you say, yeah, but what was on the floor? Was it there on purpose? Did you plan it all along? Did you?
Yeah, that's how I get ready for tonight. I pick out my clothes and then I throw them in a pile. No, that's not true. There's more care that goes into that. You know who has a lot of care? Our next guest, Jimmy Mack.
Dr. Carol Osborne is a world-renowned integrative veterinarian and author, a pioneer in anti-aging medicine and longevity research for pets. Dr. Osborne has created and patented the original PAAWS, Pet Anti-Aging Wellness System for dogs and cats. Dr. Carol holds both the dogs and cats scientific patents. She is a graduate of the Ohio State College of Veterinary Medicine and completed a prestigious internship at the Columbus Zoo. If I tried actually to go through Carol's entire bio, that would be the segment. We say that quite often because the quality of guests we get here at Road Gang Radio often lends itself to that. She's a friend of this show as well. And this is a topic, by the way, Lindsay, that a lot of people will really understand. You will understand. We're asking people who might be having problems like this to give us a call at 615-292-6366.
That's 615-292-NEMO.
And jump into our conversation about separation anxiety in dogs. Good morning to you. Dr. O, how you doing?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you on board.
Glad
to be on board.
Glad you're on board again. Always fun to have you. I'm going to start, if you don't mind, a personal anecdote / question here, because
sure.
Dr. Carol, or Dr. O, I like that. D-O, the do woman. She's a doer.
Yeah. Okay.
So last December, my husband he was working in New York at a shelter. He was filming this TV show at a shelter there, and in walked our now dog that we ended up rescuing. He then had to go to, they held on to her we have a French bulldog. They kept her. We fell in love. They kept her there. Then he went to California to work. He took a red eye back, rented a car, drove to Long Island, picked her up, and drove her 15 hours home to surprise my daughter with this new sweet French bulldog named Mimi on Christmas Eve. Now, the reason I say all that is because he didn't want to put her on a flight. You know, she was a brand new rescue. He didn't want to have to fly with her. He wanted to have that bonding time with her. It was the cutest little adventure, them on the road, sending videos the whole way along and sleeping in a hotel bed together. It was just very sweet. But I bring that up because obviously so many of our listeners, our truck drivers, are on the road with their pets and understanding the characteristics of that specific pet.
And
so I'm curious, before I talk about my dog that's peeing in my house all the time, we'll get to that later. I'm curious how someone can tell the difference, especially when on the road, between normal nervousness in pets versus a true separation anxiety.
Well, I would have to say, in my estimation, that dogs in particular, because probably not a lot of cats are traveling around in the trucks, although maybe there's a few.
We've seen monkeys. We've seen monkeys in trucks, Dr. O.
I would be surprised if very many dogs experienced separation anxiety when they're traveling with whomever it might be in the trucks. The only time I guess something like that could occur is if the dog is closely bonded to whomever it would be that is not traveling in the truck, that got left at home. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the big thing to understand is separation anxiety is a syndrome created by the pet owner that affects the pet. And basically, it's like having a little kid that never gets socialized, never plays with other kids, never goes to preschool, is just at home with mom all the time, and then suddenly it's time for kindergarten. and you open the door, and that little kid is clinging to mom's skirt, crying and going crazy, and all the other kids are in the room playing in the sandbox and with all the toys. So when an animal does not have enough self-confidence to think that they can be okay on their own because they've never been exposed to anything else other than their mom or their dad, you see what I mean? They've never had to chew on a bone without mom sitting right there letting them know that that's okay to do. So if they have no self-confidence and they've never done anything on their own without the mother or the father being right there at their side, they flip out if suddenly they're left alone. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So these dogs that are traveling in the trucks, they've got the life of Riley. They're on the road. They get to see new things all the time, and they're with the number one person they love most. So does that make sense to you? I don't think that's really a problem. That trucker pets, if you will, are going to have, as far as what I can see.
Sounds like trucker pets are living the dream, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if they get,
Oh, absolutely. They're out every day. They have new sounds, new sights, new experiences,
new smells.
They're with the person they love the most, and every day is fresh and new. They're not sitting at home all day alone waiting for mom or dad to come home after they've been at work for 8 or 10 hours. Which is unfortunately what many pets do all day. Which is unfortunate, but again, it's reality. I mean, I had a new client walk in my door, and one of the first things she said to me is, now I want to make sure I'm going to go in that exam room with my little pup because this pup is never away from me. The pup never is not by my side, and that right there, even though the woman means well, is the creation of separation anxiety. Not even enough confidence that puppy should walk 6 feet into an exam room with a veterinarian unless the woman was right there at that dog's side. Does that make a little bit of sense?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And I wanted to kind of follow up, Dr. Osborne. And this is such a cool thing because I realized that my brothers and my sister and I didn't have that sort of crying, screaming moment in kindergarten, and it's because we all were bunched together age-wise.
Right.
There's less than 18 months between the first 4 children in our family. I mean, basically, it's 18 months, 18 months, 18 months. So we all grew up together, and we also grew up with lots of cousins, too. So by the time we hit the ground running at kindergarten, we'd been socialized. And
exactly, and you were happy to meet all the new kids and have a ball.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm kind of wondering, is this why it's so important to take the animals to dog parks? Is this why it's so important to do all this kind of stuff?
You need to take your pet to see the sights and the sounds and the smells and all the interactions that there are, and of course they're abundant. And the sooner you do that, and the more you do that, the better animal, not only that you will have as a pet, but the happier and the more content and as far as adjusted, that pet's going to be very well adjusted because he's been exposed to all these things, so he's not afraid of a new person or a new sight or a new sound. He's not going to sit there and incessantly bark because, oh my gosh, what is that? What is this? What could it be? Maybe it's going to hurt me. And that is the key. No matter what age, obviously, getting a pet as a young puppy or a kitten is ideal. But a lot of people are rescuing different animals, which is wonderful. And in those cases, when you are adopting an animal that's an adult animal over 6 months old, if you will, it's going to take more time and more patience, more love, and more consistency, so that the animal can learn that if they're alone for 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 30 minutes or more, they're going to be fine.
It sounds like a Renaissance dog. That dog over there is a Renaissance dog. He gets around. I have a question. I'm always curious, Dr. O, about like sort of the do's and the don'ts in leaving your dog or your pet in the cab or the car, for me, it pertains for me, the car alone for a little bit. Now, we know we don't want to, obviously we want windows down, but not too far down. Someone could steal them, and it's got to be the right temperature. But I always like, because my dog likes to come and ride in the car, and I'll want to run in the store, whatever. And I would only do it when it's not obviously 100 degrees. But are there like actual parameters around when it's okay to, like what are the do's and don'ts of when and how it's okay to leave your pet alone in the truck or the car for a period of time?
Well, let me say this. If we're talking about the pets and the truckers, and the trucker runs in to use the restroom or, grab a quick sandwich, that's just goes with the territory. On the other hand, as far as just everyday people that are not truckers on the road with their pets, if you'd like my opinion,
I would.
If you're taking your pet somewhere that you're going to spend the day with them, go to the beach, visit friends, hey, I think it's wonderful. But if you're going to take your pet with you so you can run around and do errands and leave your pet in the car, the best place to leave your pet is at home.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Okay. And that is just the absolute honest truth. And they've actually, the heat is a big deal, as is carbon monoxide in the winter. But they've actually made it a law in many, if not most states, when these pets are locked in cars. It's, they've made it some kind of an offense, if you will, because it's has bad outcomes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I think, I think people mean well, and I know I have a lot of senior citizen clients in my veterinary practice here in Ohio, and everybody wants to have some company, but that's probably you would be better off to spend a shorter amount of quality time with your pet than drag your pet around from the dry cleaners to the grocery store to the market to the, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not quality time. Your focus needs to be on the road. And if you're a smart pet owner, I would say, traveling in your car, your pet should be in a seat belt, a crate, or some type of a carrier, just in case there is some type of an accident. So that's not really a way, as far as I can see, that you're really spending any type of quality time with your pet at all.
All right.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes
Yes,
perfect
it
sense, by the way. And I think you've done a pretty good job distinguishing the fact that, like, we're going to the dog park. I'm stopping here because I have to go to the bathroom. Hold on, Fifi.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, hold on, Mimi, hold on for a second. I'll be right back.
Right.
Is a very different thing. Or, I guess it's almost like
I was asking for other people, by the way. My dog is just fine. Let's be clear. I know what to do.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess the 90-10 split. Like, if you have to make a one or two stops along the way to spend an entire day at the park, that's a very different thing than, as I think you pointed out so well. But stopping by the dry cleaner, going to the grocery store, all that other stuff. I mean, I think it's well said.
I had a client come in the other day, an elderly woman. And she wanted to know what to do because her dog gets sick in the car. And then she explained to me she likes to take the dog with her when she runs errands. So
sounds like a problem, ma'am.
Yeah, going through the routine. The poor dog is not having a good time at all. She'd be better off to get him a nice meaty bone and leave him at home and turn on a pet video.
A nice meaty bone is a nice kind of segue here as well, too, because let's talk about a little bit about recognizing the signs of separation anxiety in our pets, and then kind of pivot to what. Go ahead, Lindsay, do it. Pivot. And then we kind of pivot into what we can do to compensate for that separation anxiety. But let's start with the symptoms. Well,
the big symptoms, primarily, 30 to 40% of dogs. Maybe 10+% of cats, but it's mostly a dog issue. You leave the home, and the dog becomes frantic. So whether they rip up your furniture, urinate and defecate around the house, bark incessantly, just go nuts, basically. That's going to be your biggest clue. And if you're wondering about it, get one of those pet cams, and then you can see what your pet's doing when you leave the house.
I'll tell you what my pet's doing when I leave the house. Peeing everywhere. And I can't figure out, and we take her out, we take her on walks, but I'm curious, Dr. Rose, so it's a Frenchie, which, they have the C-sections, and she had multiple litters when we got her. We're not sure how many. Is that something that makes their bladder small? Because this dog has to pee all the time, and I can't physically take her out all the time, obviously, and I'm not sure what to do to get around it yet.
Well, the first thing you would do is make sure she doesn't have a urinary tract infection.
We have checked that, but thank you.
You've checked that,
Yep.
and you could, have your vet run a blood sample, make sure the kidney function is normal. Have the urine examined under a microscope for signs of stones or crystals, if you will. If all that comes back, normal, then, as I recall, Mimi was a rescue.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
So Frenchies, which have become America's most popular pet.
Oh, man.
They have been overbred and inbred to the point that is literally beyond belief. What is the result of that? Well, the result of that is multifold. Number one, many, in fact, thousands and thousands of these Frenchies, because of one problem or another, have ended up in rescues. So remember that in general, when a pet is in a rescue, it is in the rescue for a reason. With Frenchies in particular, behavior is a big one. And then GI, gastrointestinal issues, vomiting, diarrhea, different food sensitivities, that's a big one. Mm-hmm. And skin allergies, itching, skin infections, stuff like that. Now, as far as peeing in the house when you're gone, if we've ruled out all the possible medical issues, then this is an older dog.
No, she's two. She's two, and let me just say too, so I know most Frenchies are crazy. This is the sweetest, kindest, most loving, chill
Wonderful.
Frenchie I've ever seen in my life.
Like, I couldn't believe it, Dr. Osborne. I couldn't
chill,
believe it.
Yeah, chill. Such just a chill, very docile. She will meet a group of dogs or people and walk right over and lay down and be like, "Here's my belly. Here you go." So she's super chill and young.
How many other pets are in the home?
Just her.
Oh, she's the only pet in the home. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And does your house have carpeting or wood tile floors? Or
Both. We close the doors to the bedrooms that have carpet because those are now all stained, and so we close that. So wood floors, and I just ordered some of those like decorative pee pads. So we're gonna start rocking that. But yeah, she is very
That'll just make it worse.
Perfect. Great. Money well spent once again.
So is she peeing in one particular spot or just like wherever she happens to land?
3 particular spots where now my wood floors are bending.
Okay, she's peeing. And how are you cleaning up those spots?
Well, my husband. No, I'm just kidding. I initially do it with water, and then we have a spray that goes over it. But I might be doing it incorrectly. A spray that's supposed to knock the scent off, but clearly it's not. Okay.
Well, I don't know, obviously what type of an odor eliminator you're using. There's a bunch of them out there, and I can't sit here and tell you like what is the very best one. And you can even go online. Sometimes you can make these concoctions of a dash of Dawn soap, some white vinegar, and baking soda. And I don't have the proportions directly under my little nose, but you have to remember that your dog's sense of smell is like 1,000 times better than yours and mine. So stuff that you and me don't even know exists, that they're all over it. So you have to get the smell out. And dog urine is not as bad as cat urine. once the cats pee on a wood floor, you can forget it. But if you can effectively eliminate the odor, that's going to help a lot.
Okay.
The next thing after that, which again it is going to take some legwork. If it was me, I would try to figure out how long the dog is capable of holding her urine. In other words, when you go to sleep at night, does the dog pee in the house?
Yes.
She does?
Yes, she'll get up in the middle of the night, and I'll usually hear her and I'll go running, but she is going in the middle of the night.
And does she walk out to the wood floor to pee, or does she pee in the bedroom?
She walks out to the same spot.
She walks out to the same spot. My guess is that those 3 spots, she's smelling the spots and just going back to them every time. You know, and you can even do things like you can put mothballs over the spots, and then usually they just go in a spot that's right next to it. You know, I would consider crating the dog in a, you know, small, or confining her to a small, reliable type area, and try to get the dog outside, you know, before she has to make a mistake in the crate. And with the crate, you want the crate to be a small crate that's her size, not a giant crate, because otherwise, you know, they do their business at one end and then hang out in the other end. The idea with a small crate is most dogs don't like to eliminate where they are spending their time, if you will. And you have to go, you know, your time, you have to go, well, she's in the crate, you know, how long can she do that successfully, and then take her out and reward her and slowly give her a little more space as long as she's not making a mistake. It's a nightmare.
Okay. All right. No,
really,
this is helpful for anybody listening. That's my
Yeah,
scenario,
I mean,
but I'm sure it's a lot of people's scenario.
let me.
It's a lot of work, but if you don't make it stop,
It won't.
you know, right. They're just ruin your entire house. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a house with a wood floor, with a hardwood floor, and the people that lived there before me had cats.
Yeah.
We got those big things where you grind the wood, you know, the sanders. We ground the whole top surface off of that wood. But I'll tell you what, if the wind came through the windows on a particular day, you could still smell it. I mean, and dog pee, excuse me, it's not as bad as cat urine, but like I
But
said,
it ain't great.
It's nothing you want to live with if you don't have to.
Really quickly, guys, for you guys listening, Chagrin Falls, petclinic.com. That is CHAGRIN Falls, petclinic.com. You can find Dr. Carol on Facebook as well at PAAWS, on the Twitter, now known as the X, at Carol on Pets, and on the Gram of Instant at Dr. Carol DVM. You can find her all over there. She's done some great stuff on Fox and Friends, Fox Cleveland, and always it's great to have her join us. Really quickly too, as well too. So basically, you know, we get a little bit of separation anxiety going on. We understand that the animal is a little nervous that we have left. I wanted to ask you a question about acclimating an animal to the neighborhood, to socialize them more. You know, the idea that the animals will often bark at anybody that approaches the door that isn't us if we leave them at home alone by themselves enough. Is it just sometimes good to sit on the porch with the animal and let the kind of world roll by? I mean, just to get out, I mean, and just to kind of let them see everybody else that's out there. Can that kind of help kind of cut down on the anxiety of the outside world intruding on their lonely space? And the other question I had was, can you play music at home? Does that help when you leave?
Music is wonderful. Some of the YouTube pet videos are equally wonderful, and bringing the pet out, whether it's a dog or a cat on a harness, and exposing that animal to the world in small amounts as you see that it's positive. It's the single best thing you can do.
I kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea is just to constantly keep the stimulus going is what it sounds like to me.
Just like you would with a child.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference. And I wanted to ask you the kind of overall holistic thing, and then throw it back to Lindsay here. How much life can you actually add, or how much life? How about this? How much life does it take off of an animal not to be properly socialized and to give it an ongoing sense of separation anxiety? Do we know? Do we have any understanding of that?
I think I think when an individual, you, me, the dog, or the cat, when you are constantly under stress, what happens? Your stress hormone, cortisol, is released, and that causes many, many, many detrimental things that accelerate the aging process in you, in me, as well as your pets. So I would say anywhere from 10 to 30+%. It's going to accelerate aging, and we all know that when we accelerate aging, we reduce the healthy lifespan.
Wow.
So
There
the
you go.
idea is to be calm and cool.
Calm and cool, just like Road Gang Radio.
That's
Doctor,
exactly right.
Doctor, one final question. If you could design the perfect truck-friendly cab for a pet, what would it what would be a few things in that cab that would keep that to have on hand to keep that dog or cat happy and healthy and thriving out on the road?
To design the perfect pet-friendly or cat-friendly cab?
Pet-friendly cat. Let's say dogs, because that's
Dog.
that dog. That's the most one traveling. How could a truck cab be most set up or beneficial? A couple things in there that make traveling for that pet the best and easiest and happiest.
Something to chew on.
That is
Something
not
to
the
chew
steering
on.
wheel.
You know, dogs need to chew when they're puppies right up until they're about 7 months old. Why? Because they're teething. But after that, dogs just have a need to chew. It relaxes them. It's just a behavioral. It's part of their natural behavior. So get them something good to chew on, and that'll keep them happy.
Perfect. Keep him happy, Jim. Keep him happy.
I got to tell you, Dr. Carroll, this flew by. We're out of time. As always, you're welcome back. I know there are a lot of friends of ours out there who have pets in their cabs. It's always really incredibly helpful, and I think we may have actually begun to have a solution towards the Mimi problem, or at least a step in the right direction. Thank you, Dr. Carroll.